Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to my first video on this channel. And in today's video, we're going to be going over the Lions 53-man roster as they just trimmed it down to 53 from about 80. So yeah, let's get into it. Let's see what the Lions have done. Okay, so quarterbacks. Jared Goff and David Blau are the two quarterbacks currently on the active roster. Tim Boyle was cut. We'll see if that changes. We'll see if Blau gets cut and we trade or pick another backup quarterback in free agency, because a lot of people were not impressed with Blau or Tim Boyle's performance in the preseason. But we'll see, if that changes, because if Goff goes down, then there's going to be major concerns for our quarterback position. But yeah, we'll see. Moving on to running backs, we have DeAndre Swift, Jamal Williams, Craig Reynolds, Jamar Jefferson. No surprise there. Jamar Jefferson, kind of a surprise that he made the team over Godwin Igwebuike. But yeah, and also Justin Jackson was released as well as Godwin Igwebuike. So Justin Jackson did have a very good preseason, and expect him to come back. If he does clear waivers, expect him to be on the practice squad. Moving on to wide receivers, we have DJ Chark, Josh Reynolds, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Khalif Raymond, and Quintez Cephas. The players that were cut: Trinity Benson, he was released with an injury designation. We traded for Trinity Benson, I believe a 6th or 7th round pick. We traded for him, I believe, from the Broncos, if I'm not mistaken. It might be a different team. Broncos or the Browns. It's one of them. I think it's the Browns. I'm not sure. But yeah, we traded for him. 7th round, 6th round pick, so not really major there. Maurice Alexander, he was just released. Khalil Pimpleton, the Hard Knock star, he was released. And Tom Kennedy, a bit of surprise, he was released as well. Tom Kennedy and Khalil Pimpleton, I expect them to come back to the practice squad if they do clear waivers. Same for Maurice Alexander and Trinity Benson. Trinity Benson's very fast. I think an NFL team will pick him up, but it's just a matter of if and when. Tight ends: TJ Hawkinson, Brock Wright, James Mitchell, and Shane Zylstra. The players that were cut: Derek Deese Jr. and Devin Funchess. Devin Funchess, bit of a surprise a little bit. He did get injured during training camp and then came back for the last preseason game, which I think he only was targeted once and he dropped the ball. But a bit of a surprise. I think he'll find a new team. If he doesn't, he'll come back to the practice squad. But I would really like to see him, try and come back to Detroit if a tight end goes down. Hopefully nobody does, but if they do and the need, maybe he'll come back. We'll see. Offensive line: Taylor Decker, Jonah Jackson, Frank Ragnow, Big H Vaitai, Penei Sewell, Matt Nelson, Evan Brown, Tommy Kramer, and Logan Steinberg. The players that were cut: Dan Skipper, Obinna Eze. He was the guy who was in the ice water with Aiden Hutchinson during the episode of Hard Knocks. He was from Nigeria, and he came here, trying to make the team, and it's very unfortunate that he didn't. Maybe he'll end up back in the practice squad. But yeah, Kevin Jarvis released with the injury designation. Darren Paulo just released, and Kendall Lamb just released. Moving on to the interior defensive line: Michael Brockers, Aleem McNeil, Levi Onwuzurike, who was injured. I believe Aleem McNeil and Levi are both injured right now, and they're rehabbing from injuries, so they're still on the team. Isaiah Buggs, he didn't make the roster. Demetrius Taylor, he didn't make the roster. Jashawn Cornell, he was released with the injury designation. We drafted him out of Ohio State a couple years back, and he just been injured. I believe he only played a couple games with us in the last 3 years, so he was Bruce Hector, he was released. Edge rushers: we have Aiden Hutchinson, Charles Harris, Julian Okwara, Austin Bryant, John Kaminsky, James Houston, and Eric Banks were released. James Houston, a bit of surprise, a 6th round pick, was released from the team. Eric Banks, he was from the LA Rams. We picked him off waivers mid last year, and he was released as well with the injury designation. Linebackers: Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, Chris Board, and Josh Woods. The two that were released: Anthony Pittman and Dra Davis. Dra Davis obviously came back for a second stint with the Detroit Lions, and it obviously did not pan out. I believe he was just late to reps, and he was just not what Kelvin Shepard and the linebacking group wanted. But obviously Malcolm Rodriguez is going to be a big contribution to this Lions linebacker group. Excited for him. Chris Board and Josh Woods, I believe we signed them in the offseason, and they did make the team, so hopefully they're going to contribute to the team. And yeah, cornerbacks: Amani Oyuware, Jeff Okuda, Will Harris, Bobby Price, Mike Hughes, Chase Lucas, and the players that were cut: Cedric Boswell, AJ Parker, which is a bit of a surprise, Jerry Jacobs, he was moved to the reserve PUP, which means he will not be available until week 4. Savion Smith and Mark Gilbert. AJ Parker, the biggest surprise out of the group. I thought he'd make the team. He did really well last year with Jerry Jacobs. He has been cut. Chase Lucas, I believe. Chase Lucas beat him in that group. Safeties: Tracy Walker, Deshaun Elliott, Fatsu Melifanu, Kirby Joseph, and Juju Hughes. CJ Moore was cut. He was waived with the injury. So, yeah, he has been cut. And last but not least, the specialists, special teams: Jack Fox, Scott Daly, and Austin Seibert. Riley Patterson has been cut. I believe Riley Patterson will find a new team. But yeah, he has been cut from the team because we obviously only need one kicker. Austin Seibert has won the job for the kicking position. So yeah, those are all the positions. Now I'm going to give you guys my thoughts. Quarterback, David Blau. We'll see what happens with that. Running back, Godwin Igwebuike and Justin Jackson. I think that they will be back. We'll see if they can contribute, elsewhere. If they do end up going anywhere else. Wide receivers, I'm not mad at this. Khalil Pimpleton has very, very good speed. Quintez Cephas making the team is kind of a bit of a surprise because he has not really done that much with his tenure with the Lions. He has potential, obviously, but he's just been bugged with injuries. We'll see what happens there. Tom Kennedy, hopefully he'll come back. He looks like he could be a big contribution to this team. Tight end, I really wanted Devin Funchess to make the team. He was obviously from Michigan. He went to the University of Michigan, so seeing him be back in Michigan for that storyline with Hutchinson would have been really good to see. But obviously, you have to make business decisions, and this was one of them. Obviously, we got to keep Hawk and Brock Wright, James Mitchell, the rookie, I believe 6th or 7th round pick, maybe 7th round pick. I'm not sure. But yeah, we got him and Shane Zylstra. So not too mad about that as well. Offensive line, you can't really say anything about it. Obinna Eze was the guy from Nigeria. He was on Hard Knocks with Aiden Hutchinson, just talking about how he wanted to make the team. And it's kind of sad that he didn't, but at the end of the day, it is a business decision. And hopefully he'll be back with the team and the practice squad after hopefully clears waivers. If he doesn't, then hopefully he'll go to another team and contribute there. But yeah, interior defensive line, Jashon Cornell, obviously I've already mentioned. He went to Ohio State. He tore his ACL I think like the first week or the first day of practice when he first got here a couple years ago, and he's just been bugged with injuries, so we had to do it. Bruce Hector, we have too much depth, and if the defensive line, if the Lions think that the defensive line is better off without Bruce Hector, then you just got to do what you got to do. James Houston on the edge rusher, the bit of a surprise. He was apparently very good in camp. I don't know why he was released. Unless there's something that we don't know. John Kaminsky, we signed him in the offseason as an undrafted free agent, and he is he's still here. So I don't know. James Houston, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was just his attitude or something, but yeah, he's no longer on the team. Linebackers, Anthony Pittman and Jarrad Davis. Anthony Pittman did contribute to the special teams unit a lot last year, and he has been released, which is again is a bit of a surprise. But Dan Campbell did say that a lot of players that will be released will be players that did do some really good things for this team, and it's hard to make those decisions. But you have to. You have to get the roster down to 53. So, you have to do what you have to do. Jarrad Davis, I don't think his attitude really changed. I think that was a big thing. I think Kelvin Shepherd wants that more energetic guy like Derek Barnes and Malcolm Rodriguez. Malcolm Rodriguez, they call him. He's very energetic. He said in training camp, the best part about it is he gets to hit people, and he wants to do that. Jarrad Davis, I think, is more of a technical, laid-back guy. I'm not saying, he shouldn't have made this team. I'm not a linebacker coach, but if Kelvin Shepherd and Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions believe that the team is better off without Jarrad Davis and Anthony Pittman, then I'm going to trust them. Moving on to cornerbacks, Cedric Boswell. We signed him in the offseason. I don't know. not really sure. Didn't really hear that much about him. AJ Parker, again, a bit of a surprise because he did flash last year, making some very, very good plays, very good tackles for the team. Maybe he just didn't do that in camp and in preseason. That's where they had to be like, yeah, you know, because I believe he got burnt a lot in preseason. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see if he comes back in the practice squad. Jerry Jacobs moved to the reserve PUP, so he won't be available to week 4. This is a good move because he is injured, recovering from his ACL tear. He will not be available until then, week 4. So yeah, Savion Smith, I believe we got him from the Steelers. I think we got him from the Steelers, or maybe it was the Commanders. It was one of them. But yeah, we released him. Again, didn't really hear that much about him. Mark Gilbert. Oh yeah, we got Mark Gilbert from the Steelers. I remember last year, like during the season. So yeah, we did cut him as well. Again, I'm not really sure. Chase Lucas did make the team, which is that's really good to see. The rookie, Mike Hughes, make the team. Yeah, really good, really good to see. So safeties. CJ Moore was the only safety that was cut. He was with the injury, so he was injured and he was cut. Again, nothing you can do. He was on the team for a couple of years. I remember last year he did like a fake punt, and I believe, yeah, it was a fake punt against the Rams. And I don't know if it went for a touchdown, but he got the first down. So that was really good to see. But yeah, wishing the best for CJ Moore. And then specialist Riley Patterson obviously was cut. So the kicking competition was very, very competitive, and Austin Cyber just ended up being the better guy. Even though Riley Patterson, I believe, hit a 63-yarder in the preseason, or not the preseason, and at the Lions Family Fest, which is basically a scrimmage, hit a 63, 62, 61 yarder, somewhere in there. But yeah, Austin Cyber, being the more accurate guy, being the better guy, gets the job. And yeah, that is a Lions 53-man roster. Oh man, yeah. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Like, is this good? Is this a good roster for the Lions? Should they make any more moves, or like what's going on here? So yeah. I'm going to be making another video soon on the Lions' expectations for the season and who needs to step it up and who, you know, who's doing good, who I expect to do good, and what my Lions record predictions will be for the season. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to slap the like button, hit the sub button if you guys are new, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace out. Go Lions.